Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. It's time again for another one of our seniors workouts from home. Today's session is going to put a little bit more emphasis, or rather, I will put a little bit more emphasis on building up your shoulder strength and improving your shoulder mobility. We'll do a little bit more work in general for upper body, but of course, I'll also pepper in some exercises for your legs as well. What I'd like for you to grab to get started is a long stick, and I'm actually just using a nice broomstick here. So I'll give you a moment to go and grab one, or you can just pause one and grab one. We're going to use this for mobilizing our shoulders. So what I'd like for you to do is to go ahead and grab that stick at a minimum with your hands shoulder width apart. A little better if you could grab it wider, but everyone's different with what their capabilities are, so I want you to feel comfortable adjusting for you. What we're going to do is grab that stick and perform a rowing action first. So we're going to drop the left hand and raise the right hand. This is why I said it's a little more difficult for a wider stance of your hands, because it requires a little bit more mobility. If you're doing these exercises with me as we go along, you should be experiencing some improvement in your range of motion. So you can start with a narrower stance of your hands today, and then maybe revisit this exercise later, another day, and widen the stance of those hands. So let's go ahead and just do some gentle rowing actions just to get your shoulders warmed up, get your arms and upper body warmed up. And while you do this, I want you to take some slow breaths in and slow breaths out at your own pace, as long as it's slow. Follow along with me to start. Now we're going to reverse that direction like we're paddling backwards. We're going to drop the right arm and then the left arm. If you're starting to feel like your shoulders are opening up and you're warming up, now you can widen the stance of your hands, or you can keep them in the same position. It really doesn't matter to me right now. Just do your best. One thing I am doing is I'm allowing some freedom of movement in my shoulders, so I'm not pressing the shoulders down firmly the whole time, but I'm also not allowing the shoulders to overly hike. So if you already have this kind of posture where your shoulders are severely elevated, then I would lightly, gently keep the shoulders down, but a little bit of up and down movement is very helpful. Now, what I'd like for you to do is to take that bar. This is going to be difficult for many of you, and you're going to just raise those arms as high up as you can. Some of you might need to stop here. Some of you will get it up to the shoulders. Fantastic. Some of you will get it up to the nose or the forehead, and some of you may be able to get it overhead. If you can get it to the line to match up with the line of your ears, in other words, it's stacked directly over your ears, that's just amazing. You should be proud of that. It's something for us all to work towards. If you can go a little further than that by widening the position of your hands on the post, that's also a great objective to work towards, though not necessarily something that you need to be doing right now. Just do your best to accomplish the best range of motion you can get. Now all together we're going to take a deep breath in as we raise that pole, and breathe out as we drop. Take a deep breath in and extend your posture upwards as you raise the stick, and then breathe out as you drop it. We'll do that one more time. A deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and then a deep breath out. Now, I'd like for you to take that stick, put it behind your back, and again, adjust your hands accordingly. We're going to raise the arms up as high up as we can get from behind our body as we can. It's going to be a little easier if your hands are closer, a little harder if they're further apart. Find what's most comfortable for you. It's not inherently a comfortable exercise to begin with, but it's great for you. One more thing, try to press your shoulders down for this one. Let's raise the arms up. We're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, and then drop down. Press up again and hold for 1, 2, 3, and drop down. Be mindful of your breathing here. Raise up again, hold for 1, 2, 3, and drop. We'll do 3 more of these. Raise up. If you can go a little higher each time, then definitely go a little higher. Push yourself. 2, 1, and then 1 more all the way up for 3, 2, 1. Now keep that post behind your back. I'd love it if you widen the stance of your arms for this one. We're going to swing the arms to the left, and we're going to swing the arms to the right. Of course, narrower stance makes it a little bit easier for you. So again, adjust accordingly, but swing as much as your body is capable of. Some of you might be able to only move a little bit. Some of you can move a lot. Do your best for your body. We're going to do 5 more. Slow, steady pace. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. You are now done with that stick. So I'd like for you to either stretch your arms out to the side or place your hands on your elbows and get a nice wide stance of your feet. We're going to rotate or twist to the right as far as we can go. That means the hips rotate, and we can rotate additionally through the waist, so we're really using all of the tools at our disposal. And then I'm going to just step back a little bit so you can see my feet as well. If I twist to my right, I'm going to pick up my left heel so that I can pivot on that foot and get a little bit more rotation in my hips. Now I'm going to twist as far as I can to the left, hips, waist, and I pick up my right heel so I can pivot on that foot. Now if that's really uncomfortable, if any of these stages are really uncomfortable, just perform as many of the stages as you can. So if you can only rotate through the hip without additional rotation through the waist, go ahead and do that as the rest of us go through movements from left to right. If you can rotate through the waist and through the hip and the waist, but you can't pick up that foot because you're compromised in some way in your hips and you can't support yourself with mostly one leg, then don't pick up the heel. You know, I repeat these exercises from video to video so you can always revisit these. And when you're stronger, you'll be able to do a little bit more. We'll do 1 more on each side. As far to the right as we can, as far to the left as we can. Excellent. Shake out your legs. Now we're going to do an exercise for your toe extensors and your tibialis, aka the shin muscles. For these, you will almost certainly want to use a chair. It's not necessary, but I think you'll probably want it. We're going to stand with our feet close together, heels close together. I'm going to pick up the balls of my feet, the balls of both feet at the same time, and I'm going to swivel on my heel. I'm going to swivel the balls and toes to the right, and then I'm going to swivel the balls and toes to the left. Right and left. Now if that's really difficult for some of you, you might want to try to do right foot, left foot, instead of doing both feet at the same time. Yeah? So grab the chair. We're going to do this in a multiple of 6, starting from 0, and then 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, and 60. And then from 60 down, we're just going to raise the balls of the feet and drop them. Nice and quickly from 60, 54, 48, 42, 36, 30, 24, 18, 12, 6, and last one, 0. Good. You can shake those feet out. We're not going to do heel raises today because I do some variation of the heel raise almost every video. I'm going to give your calves a rest this time and just allow the shin muscles to do all the work. So now we're going to move on to some internal and external rotation of our arms and shoulders. In other words, we're going to be working on strengthening our rotator cuff muscles. So for that, you're going to need a rubber band. Any rubber band. It can be a really light one or a heavier one, whatever's best for you. Actually, probably better if everyone out there uses a nice thin rubber band. I'm just using a flimsy TheraBand. If you have one of those tube bands, make sure it's a really, really light one. So what I'm going to do to start is to hold my palms straight up. I'm going to tuck my elbows into my sides and I'm just going to open and close my hands. Now, the important thing for you to keep in mind is to not allow separation between the inner arm and elbow and the side of your torso. If you feel like you're cheating, if you notice you're opening and closing the hand and arm at the same time, that means you're using muscles right now that I don't want you to use. So roll up a towel or a newspaper and tuck it in between your elbow and your side so that when you're doing the exercise, you're forced to keep the arm tucked in appropriately. So here we go. We're going to do it with both arms at the same time. If you've got something underneath your right arm, you should make sure to have something underneath your left arm as well. By the way, even a pillow under each arm will help with this one. I'll do it. I don't need it, but I might as well do it so that you all have a chance to see what it looks like. It is effective. It might look silly, but it's effective to make sure that the exercise is going to be done appropriately and that you're going to get the benefits out of this that I want for you to get. We're going to externally rotate it and then relax the hands by spelling, instead of counting a multiple, we're going to spell a word, and it will be businesses. Businesses, that's the plural. We'll start from B. By now, I hope you've realized that from time to time, S, I may misspell S or miscount something. I have got a lot of my mind talking to you and doing the exercise, and it's a lot of multitasking. E, so it's easy to make some mistakes, so don't rely on me. S. S, try your best to spell the word forwards and backwards on your own. E, and then S. Great, so that's what it looks like with the supports underneath your elbows. Make sure to use those supports every time we come back to this exercise until you notice that you can do the movement with no cheating or compensation whatsoever. This next one's going to be a little bit more challenging. So you can still keep a pillow under one elbow if you like, or a disc or a newspaper, but I'm going to demonstrate this without using it now. So what I'm going to do is hold my hands face down, right? So they're pronated in their position. My palms face the ground. Tuck the elbows in, and then I'm going to just keep the left elbow tucked in, and I'm now going to allow my right elbow to leave the side of my body. I'm going to pick it up a little bit as well. Yes, I've got about a 90-degree angle on that elbow. My hand is raised approximately to the level of my chest, somewhere between my bottom rib and my top rib, somewhere in there. You don't have to be perfect with the placement, as long as this left elbow is perfectly tucked in. I will not move my left arm or hand whatsoever. I'm going to rotate my right arm backwards, so I'm externally rotating it. Yes, simple movement, rotationally. As I do that, I'm going to keep my shoulder back and down. So all together, let's get into this position. Tuck your left elbow in, pick your right elbow up, and then all together, let's raise our shoulder, right shoulder, pull our right shoulder back, and draw our right shoulder down. So it's in firm place. Now we're going to rotate that right arm hand back. And then we're going to, if for those of you who can, we're going to do a little press up. Doesn't have to be all the way. Just a light press up, down, and then rotate it again. So it's an external rotation, a light press up. Notice how that's a very small action for me, and then an internal rotation. We won't count this in a multiple because it's a more complex movement and I want you focusing on form, so just copy along with me. We're going to count from 1 to 10. 1, light press up, and then bring it back. 2, rotate, light press up, and then bring it back. 3, light press up, and then bring it back. For those of you who are wondering, 4, I'm keeping my elbow just a little bit in front of my shoulder. It's not in line with my shoulder. Yeah, it's a little bit in front of my shoulder. This is 5, 6, 7. You might wonder why I'm combining the external rotation 8 with the press, so that you are training your rotator cuff muscles. 9, to work in synchronization with the other muscles, your chest, your pecs, your lats, to help you perform a more complex movement that's simply rotation. And by the way, these muscles are all supposed to work together to perform many of the actions that you perform every day. You don't even think about it. So let's now tuck our right elbow in, keep our right hand and right elbow in place. We're going to lift our left elbow up and just give yourself one little rotation without a press upwards, one or two, just to get a sense for the movement. Make sure your elbow isn't pressed all the way back, it's slightly in front of the shoulder. Let's all raise our shoulders up, forward and back, and then start. So externally rotate, light press, and then bring it back. It's a really small movement. For those of you who can't do the press at all, just work on rotating, externally rotating. 3, 4, good. 5, good. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that is a more complex movement, but you're going to get some benefits from it that you won't get simply from externally rotating the arm. If you felt like you weren't good at all on that exercise, don't worry about it. It's the first time I've ever done this with the group, so I will bring it back. As long as you're willing to make an effort, you will get better. All right? Now, we're going to move on, and we're going to do some work for our legs. Now, I did say that we do a little bit of work for the lower body as well. And for this, I've chosen to do a squat. And I'm going to show this to you from profile. Some of you might be able to stack some pillows up or get a higher chair. Some of you might be able to go all the way down in a chair and all the way up. I'm going to show you different ranges of motion so to reflect the varying abilities of everyone who's using these exercises. Level 1, I'm going to keep my palms on the front of my thighs. I'm going to push my butt back. I'm going to allow my knees to bend. My knees can carry forward a little bit towards the toes. As long as they're not going very far beyond the toe, it's okay. And as long as I'm really exercising the backward movement of my hips as well. And this is low enough. If that's work for you, then just press right up. You don't have to do the full range of motion right away. That's something that you can work towards. Don't not do an exercise simply because the full version or one version of it is difficult for you. This is a pretty simple activity that we all perform every day every time we get up and get into and out of a chair. So we're going to do 10 repetitions. We're going to count it in a multiple of 4, starting from 0 all the way up to 40, and we'll do whatever range of motion works best for us. So let's start at 0, 4, and I said I would do different ranges of motion to reflect what different people are doing out there. 8, 12, getting ahead of myself here, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. Now we're going to keep counting down from 40. 40, if 10 was enough for you, just start doing a smaller range of motion like this. That was 40, 36, 32, 28, 24, 20. If you can handle to go a little lower, feel free. And what were we at? 24, 20, 16, 12. Ooh, I really hope I didn't mess that up for all of you. 8, 4, and 0. Excellent. Good work, everyone. So today's session is going to be a little shorter. I did say in a previous video also that some of my exercise routines will be a little longer and some of them will be a little shorter, so you get a nice variety. We're going to finish with one stretch, and that is for your hamstrings. So we're going to have a seat. You know I love stretching out your hamstrings, and I love stretching out your glutes. I think your quadriceps can get a nice stretch too, but the reason I don't often stretch these on my videos is I like to go over those stretches in person. You can stretch your quadriceps by standing next to a chair, elevating your foot and grabbing the foot, but not everyone's capable of lifting their foot all the way and grabbing, so maybe another day I'll come up with some variations that I can show you on video. Although, most of the time, if you can't stand, pick up your foot and grab your foot to stretch out your quadriceps, or you can't get onto your knees to do it, my suggestion is to simply lie on your side and then loop a towel around your foot when you're lying on your side in bed and then pull the foot up. So it's a little more difficult, and that's why I don't often or always show you those exercises or stretches in the videos. Have a seat, stretch out your right foot, your whole right leg, tuck the toe in towards your right knee. I want you to reach straight ahead with your hands. Don't let your spine flex. Keep it as one straight line. Well, you know, it's got some natural curves. Keep it as one unit. Don't let it break. And take a deep breath in for the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then breathe out. Let's do the second time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then breathe out. Let's do it twice more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1 fourth and final time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Now let's tuck that right foot in, extend the left foot out, bring our posture up and reach forward for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and come back. Let's do that a second time for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come back. Now let's do it a third time for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come back, and we'll do it 1 fourth and final time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. I hope you all were able to follow along with that video. I know we had some more challenging exercises for your shoulders. I will repeat them and show you variations on those on other days, but for now I hope that you stay healthy, stay safe, stay active. You know, I leave that message at the end of every video, so go and